when I'm making that front toe adjustment, one of the things that I'll do right up front is set those wheels as straight as I can get them, back the car up, pull it forward, and then I either use bungees or some other kind of strap to tie the steering wheel down to the frame under the seat or the front of the seat, however you want to do it, just to keep that from moving around while you're trying to make adjustments. Otherwise, everything is adjusting against each other instead of to a specific, you want your steering wheel to be straight, so you straighten it up and then go ahead and make those toe adjustments. You were getting a little wear on the inside edge of your tire, and so you decided to put on those camber bolts on the top of the, and yeah, it did adjust the camber like that on your tire, but a side effect of going positive on your camber adjustment is you get toe out when you go positive on the camber. So you can see I've set a string around the center of the back tire and come up around and hook it on the center of the front. So now I'm going to go down underneath on both sides, and I am going to adjust this until that touches right there. That string touches, and then I'm going to go another quarter turn, just like I always do. Okay. Back underneath the Saturn Ion, working on the toe adjustment. As you can see, that string right there. I want that string, which is wrapped around the front of the tire, I want that to touch that tire right there. Okay, so I got my vice grips on the tie rod, and then since I couldn't locate my 18mm long, I'm using my crescent, and fortunately it's being kind to me. So I'm going to back this off, and then I am going to use this area right here, put a wrench on there, and then I am going to adjust thusly to move this that way and get rid of that gap right there. Okay, so I'm going to make some adjustments and we'll come back. Back on the driver's side, we wanted to elongate this connection, right? Okay, so after we backed off this, then I turned this way. Okay, I'm on the driver's front left, so I'm turning it to the right to elongate this, to push the back of the tire out, and you can see that I got my string to touch, and then I gave it another half turn. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to set this tight. I'm going to put my channel lock, my vice grips on here, and then I'm going to tighten this back up. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. And I hope that this car is going to track nicely, and these tires aren't going to wear out on the inside, outside, etc., etc. So after putting those camber bolts on the top to tilt those wheels in a little bit, we're readjusting the toe. I'm just going to show you real quick where I set my string. I did it just like that, okay? You can do it however you'd like, but I use my plumb string, and then I just hook it on any old thing. Okay. Can you see where I have it hooked right there? Now I'm going to put it on the other side. But we're adjusting this because it was, other than general knowledge, that when you change the camber, you have to adjust when you go positive on the camber, you're going to get negative toe automatically. But after making the camber adjustment, the thing was like, it was like driving it on ice. It was just all over the lane. And you should be able to let go of that steering wheel and have it track. So that's what we're doing today. It's not a complicated job unless your tie rod adjustment is a little bit rusty. In that case, you're going to have to maybe get aggressive with it. I just always, anything that I work on, I touch it with silicone before I leave. Anytime I'm underneath the car, I always take my flat black and wire brush. You know, this car has 250,000 miles on it, and it runs just absolutely excellent. So, and the bottom looks decent. So why not take care of these, right? Okay. Yeah, we have virtually the same thing here on the passenger side. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that. Okay, you see that? That needs to be touching. So we're going to make it touch. We're going to run that tie rod out just a little bit till that touches. Then I'm going to turn it another half turn and lock it down. Okay. All I need to do is just crack this a little bit, because I'm going to be running this tie rod out. I'm going to be running this out when I twist this. So this will move that way because this is going to move that way. Okay? Okay. Here we go. 10 minutes later, maybe, and we got that string right where we want it. Just touching. And we are all tightened back up. So we crack this loose counterclockwise, and then we ran this clockwise if you're looking inward to move this outward, which made a bigger gap right here. as that gap got bigger, the gap on this string got smaller. And eventually that string touched. We twisted this another quarter to half. My mechanic always likes to do quarter, I always like to do half, but do as you will. And then this gap was larger, of course, and then we tightened this back in. As I've noted in other videos, you've got your inexpensive little infrared laser, whatever you want to call it, temperature device, you know, that you squeeze. I don't have it here in this video. I have it in another one, but you drive this down the freeway or down a good 55 mile an hour, etc., and then hop out and shoot that red here and here and here on both sides, and then you take the temperature readings. Obviously, if this side is hot, you're adjusted too far like this and you're dragging the tire. If that side has a higher temp, then you're adjusted like this and you're dragging the inside and you're towed out. You're towed in too much or towed out too much. And obviously, if this is hot, significantly hotter than the inside edge, this is going to wear off, right? Anyway, hope that helped. If those bolts don't give you, if those don't aren't rusted up on you, this is maybe a 10 to 20 minute job. Don't forget the jack stands when you're using the jacks. I typically use actually 4 jack stands. But anyway, and then now I'm just gonna hit a couple of spots that I saw. And if you were wondering why this had black paint on it, because when I'm spraying with this, I actually take this top off and use this, and that way I can localize, and I can also get up inside of the frame. If it's winter time in your area and the underside has salt, I kind of recommend that you do this in the fall or in the springtime after you've driven through some heavy rains, and or power wash it really good and let it dry for 5 days. You probably don't want to seal salt inside of a frame. I have replaced a engine cradle front subframe on one of these vehicles that had far fewer miles on it than the one that I daily drive right here. This one's kind of solid as a rock. The other one I had bought from someone who apparently didn't care for it as they should have. So so that's that. And when you're done spraying with your black, put it back on your WD-40, hit that, and that'll clean this out. Okay? Hope this helps. Have a good day.